Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode 606 of the DrunkNerds Podcast. I'm your host, as always. I'm Tyler. And join me, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Sir Colonel Gables. What's up, buddy?
I'm a bit tired right now,
Yeah.
Tyler.
Yeah.
And it's more things than one. I mean, both of us just got done watching night one of WrestleMania,
Yeah.
and literally the main event was like literally 17 minutes of like freaking entrances and stuff, not to mention the whole like 5 to 10 minutes between each match and then things like that. I mean, Tyler had a chance to watch the full on brunt of the event and stuff, or I, because I had to work until a certain time, like an hour or so, I had to come in like an hour after it started and stuff, and so I was able to skip a lot of different things that I did not want to watch, including certain packages and stuff. And well, let's just say I did have the better experience in terms of that stuff. But yeah, man, WrestleMania Night One, there was some fun stuff, and there was a lot of annoying stuff.
Most
But
definitely.
yet, WrestleMania weekend, so yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's the weekend. Cheers to the freaking weekend, Gables.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, Gables and I spent like an hour before the show, like just venting, fantasy booking, a lot of just talking a lot of shit out about this show. We could have just made this like that could have just been the podcast. Honestly, it's just literally like the 50 something minutes we spent talking about the show. Um, but yeah, man, that was yeah, like you said, Gables got to like basically watch the entire show in like 2 hours, and meanwhile I spent like
Hmm.
4.5 watching the show. Uh, and there's nothing I hate more than feel like my time is getting wasted. Um, and good lord, you doing a four and a half hour show, and you have less than 2 hours of wrestling. What the fuck are we even doing here? And especially when half of the wrestling that went on was kind of boring, honestly.
Yeah,
Really sucked. Like I don't know, but I
I'll
don't
tell
know.
you what
Go
though,
ahead.
with
Go
the
ahead.
whole entrances and how long they were tonight, it kind of really reminded me of the running gag that wrestling fans had for years whenever Triple H would come to the ring, how long he would actually take before he started getting into the ring. I
Yeah.
remember seeing memes literally back around maybe 15 or so years ago on the internet and stuff where we see this dude, he literally had these wrestling toys or something like that and just did like certain snapshots or something like that. And then when Triple H gets announced to enter into the Royal Rumble and stuff, and literally like about he comes to the ring like about oh god, like about 10 or 20 clips later or something like that, because everyone else is coming in there and stuff, being eliminated, do this and that and stuff, and he literally does not get into the ring until finally he's like the last opponent in the
Yeah.
ring.
Like he could be the first guy out at the Royal Rumble and somehow not get to the ring and talk to the 30th guys in the ring. Um, but at least they had Motorhead. Um, I feel
Yep.
like in WWE, honestly, the ring entrances, it's like in anime when I do like the side stories, like just do like the 20 episode like side thing that just kind of doesn't actually progress the plot anywhere. I feel like
Oh
that's
yeah.
what ring entrances are in like professional wrestling, or at least the
Feel like the
WWE.
filler arc.
Yeah, it's like entrances and WWE are just a filler arc of professional wrestling. That's all it is.
So basically, in terms of like what I just to get a good example here, it's like in professional wrestling, it's like you have the main stuff, like the actual entrance itself. So it's like kind of like a Yu-Gi-Oh kind of Duelist Kingdom and stuff. And then all of a sudden, once they start walking to the ring, it kind of feels like a filler episode or something like that, like the Seal of Recalcos.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, like Roman Reigns' entrance to me is like that one time they get sucked into VR and Seto's dad's there for like 15 episodes. Like
Oh
that's like
yeah,
every Roman Reigns entrance to me at this point. It's like,
yep.
all
It's the
right,
whole
cool.
deck master thing.
Yeah, yeah. The five-headed dragon shows up. It's like, okay, that never means anything again. It's
Jesus
just
Christ, we're mixing like two filler arcs.
yeah, right. We're, like, we're just mixing shit up. Like that. This is what wrestling does to me, Gables. It drives me goddamn nuts. Sometimes, like, why do I enjoy it? I don't know why. Except for WWE, I don't really enjoy it. I guess that much. Rock, just don't. Yeah, just stop. Just stop coming back. Um, you just cut promos for like 25 minutes every week and then never wrestle. That's honestly what I need
Dude,
you to do for me.
I never thought I would actually say this though, but I feel like Rock's at the point and stuff where he's getting go away X-Pac heat.
Oh my God, yeah. Well, maybe I It's so funny. Like when he came back, like now we're just doing what we did for an hour before we started the podcast. Uh, it's like it's funny because people kind of hated him when he came back and beat Punk,
Yep.
like 12 years ago. Now he's back and
Oh yeah.
people like him now. I don't know. It was weird because people were actually booing Cody when he was beating up The Rock, and it's like, God damn
Yeah.
it, God damn it, we're
Yeah.
doing the
It's
opposite now.
dude. It's because of the mass advertising and stuff. I know how effective this mass advertising is. Even my freaking parents are telling me, "Oh, did you know The Rock's gonna be wrestling inside the thing? I saw it on TV." Like, oh my god, here we
Yeah,
go.
yeah. God damn. I feel like, God damn, fuck. Rock comes back and like he buries the rest of the roster again. Jesus Christ. Anyways, this is a video game podcast. Every week we talk about
Yes.
video games. Uh, so what was the show? This is what happens when we start the show like 2.5 hours later than we normally do.
Yep.
And we had to watch. Well, I had to watch 17 hours of people entering a ring and not actually wrestling. But Gables, I am drinking a beer named after you. I'm drinking a Gable here. So I'm drinking one of those tonight. It's actually not bad. It's a high in alcohol content, so I can't have too many. It's like a 5.5% or something like that. So I'm only doing two tonight. Um, but anyways,
Yes.
if this is the video game podcast, I swear, where we get together every week, talk about video games, talk about everything we love and hate about them, and everything in between. Like I said, I'm Tyler. That's Gables. We were
Mm,
just two guys that do this for fun. We don't get paid for this. We don't make money off of this. We actually pay money to do this. So if you guys can support us in any way by just going to our YouTube channel, going to Apple Podcast, Spotify, anywhere podcast services you're on, check us out there. Twitter, Facebook, all that. Gables, I've been saying for like a long time now. We're also on Google Podcasts. It just
yeah.
came to my attention yesterday that Google
What?
Podcast has been gone for like over a year now. It's like it's just I didn't know. Oh boy, that we are
Oh.
very tired right now. This might just be the
Hey,
podcast this week.
at least we're on Spotify. At least we're on YouTube and like iTunes and stuff. So people
Yeah,
have a chance to listen to us whenever they want to.
Gables, iTunes has been dead for like 8 years now. It's Apple Podcasts. Okay, come on, give
Oh.
it the time. Like, yeah. So I guess Google Podcast now is just like if you go to the YouTube Music app, we're on there. But it's literally. So I
Yep.
went and I clicked on it when I found that out. I'm like, oh, okay. So we're on there now. I went and looked to make sure we're actually on there. It's literally just the YouTube feed. It's on the YouTube Music app. So
Yep.
whatever. We're just check us out there. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell your friends. Tell all that. Please, really appreciate it. 5-star reviews. Leave the comments. All that fun jazz. Share. Tell your friends. Really would appreciate if you did all that for us. Uh, what what an entrance to the show here this is. Um, but Gables, we gotta get into some of the news this week. Not a lot going on
All
right
right.
now, but it's kind of crazy a little bit. Like not a lot's going on. It's been kind of like I feel like it's like the slowest it's been for a while now as far as like the news and big games coming out. I just they're like it's kind of drying up right now, which is honestly it's kind of nice for me because I feel like I've just been doing like a sprint for like just trying to like keep up with everything. As for, I still got a few games I want to
Yeah.
play, but we're finally getting a little slowing down a little bit. It's gonna get like the end of the month, like 3 weeks. It's gonna get crazy for me. I got 3 games literally coming out in like 4 days, at the
Right.
end of the month. But same thing with the news. Like I feel like the last like month, it's kind of been like there's been some news, but it's not like been big blockbuster stuff. And it's kind of a little nice, I guess, but it's a little harder when we do a podcast every week. But we're already starting off with some summer Game Fest rumors, which is pretty crazy. Like
In
we're
April. Yeah.
yeah, we're still 2 months away. I believe it's actually exactly 2 months away. It is April 7th as we're recording this. Well, it's April 7th
Hmm.
here in Central Time. Gables, it's still, I think it's like Thursday afternoon there for you. So I don't know how your time zone work.
Saturday afternoon.
Gables, it is 12:23 my time. So that means
Yep.
it is 10:23 p.m. your time. All right.
Yep.
Not that idiot. I'm not that big of an idiot. I'm mostly an idiot, but not that big. Anyway, what the fuck is this show? Gables, let's get into some of the news. There's been a lot of uh, rumors and rumblings going on about what's going on at Summer Game Fest. Mostly on the PlayStation Xbox side right now. So we're gonna talk about PlayStation first. Jeff Grubb was on the Giant Bombcast this week and talked about so quote from him. Um, I don't want to misquote him. I know it's like usually an issue. People just misquote him and it turns into a whole ordeal. It already has turned into a big ordeal. People not listening to what the fuck he says. He said today he's heard a bunch of times that either a PlayStation showcase or state of play will take place in May. Also mentioned that Silent Hill 2 will be there, and there will possibly be a release date. So I just want to point out people have been like misquoting that, mainly that, and then like saying for sure a showcase. But he did mention that like he's it sounds like it's going to more than likely be a showcase, and usually that late May, early June is typically when they do the showcase. Sometimes they do a state of play when they've done that in the past, but usually that is showcase time for PlayStation. And last year they did a showcase. I was remember like 2022 they just didn't do one. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so this, if you kind of look back at last year they had some new announcements. We got Helldivers 2 was revealed. The Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater was revealed. Marathon, Foam Stars, Fair Games, all the hits. Concord was also there. So I mean, we there's a lot of shit we haven't seen yet. Some stuff has come out, and I mean, Foam Stars kind of actually did come out. I know it's shocking to many people that it did come out, but yes, it did come out. I swear.
I actually
Um,
forgot completely about that game.
Yes, yeah, as did everybody else immediately. But then Helldivers 2, obviously, you can't forget about that game. That game is fantastic.
Oh no.
Uh,
A literally fantastic game. I mean, for God's sakes. I mean, it's been in the top 10. It's been like in the top 5, stuff like that, since it's been released.
yeah. I think the sales are slowing down a little bit, but it's way past what they thought, and like it's still one of the most played games in like on Steam every week and every day. So that's pretty awesome. Like I think like last Friday like late morning, early afternoon, they had like a
Mm.
500,000 people playing on Steam at one point.
That is so crazy that
Which
that game's been that popular and
yeah,
it's still gaining steam a bit.
yeah. So and they just I believe the new battle pass just dropped. So um, yeah, just I think another boost. They've been like slowly adding shit and like I just love everything they're doing with the PR. Like I said a couple weeks ago, Helldivers 2 when we do game awards at the end of the year, I can't remember what that reward's called, but it's like best community support or best community whatever. Helldivers 2 landslide 100%. All the
Absolutely.
votes go to that. Like that's where it needs to go. Um,
Absolutely.
but anyways, with this PlayStation event, Gibbles, um, let's just assume it's happening. We're gonna call it a showcase.
Okay.
Even though Jeff Grubb not confirming that, I'll point that out again. But let's just assume it's gonna happen into May. What? How excited would you be, and what do you expect to be there?
All right. If there was a showcase that was happening in May, would I be excited? I'm actually pretty I wouldn't be sure for certain, but I would say that I would have low expectations for it,
Yeah,
only because of the news over the past couple of months, like aiming that Sony's not going to have really anything concrete until next year,
yeah,
really, in terms of any type of major game releases or any type of like that sort that we're aware of.
yeah.
If
Well, they did
smaller
say like
games,
they did say like they specifically mentioned like Ghost, like a Last of Us and Spider Man. It's like they're not gonna have like the big IPs of theirs.
but smaller games
Correct.
potentially.
Yes.
And also like Silent Hill too, potentially as well,
Yeah,
if
but
the rumors are correct.
I don't. I think
But
that's on. I think that's coming to Xbox though.
if that's true, then that's fine though.
Yeah,
But in terms of
I
just
just
Sony first party games directly, I would
yeah,
expect there to be like the smaller echelon of games to appear in there, whether or not it be like random indie titles that they've helped fund, or like either that, or like maybe like potential like remasters or like remake of like say a smaller section of games, from maybe their back catalog. Who knows? But what I also would expect to see there, I would be excited to see what Silent Hill 2 initially more of that gameplay looks like, because we
yeah,
only got really the core cusp of this announcement trailer in and of itself, and some aspects of like say the story and stuff, and then weirdly enough we got some bit of like the gameplay of
yeah.
Silent Hill
The
2,
combat
and
trailer last year.
yeah, that's the weakest part of that whole game, though, and
Yeah,
that's not something you want to go and like advertise as, oh, look at this combat inside this game. No, and I'd be excited to see like what more they've done in terms of the polish for Silent Hill 2 remake, on top of what the release date, if it's going to be releasing like say in the summer or maybe close to fall. I mean, I would believe that there would be some sort of release date for Silent Hill 2 that would be announced. I mean, at this point, it makes sense that you have this game that you're going to be releasing some time between now and the end of the year and stuff, and it's been kind of heavily rumored that that Konami wants to release this game this year. I mean, I would definitely expect something like that to be there, but as far as anything else inside this thing, I think it's going to mostly be just smaller games, and that's part of the reason why I'm kind of at this lower expectations type of thing,
Okay.
because this is the type of thing where we're probably going to have one big game, that being Silent Hill 2 remake and stuff in its initial release date, and then we'll have a whole bunch of like updates on like little titles that Sony had been working on. Wouldn't that be kind of funny if all of a sudden they have the devil inside just at this little thing?
Oh shit. That yeah. Well, we do know like it sounds like they like what I hope that'd be awesome because I know that they're looking for funding right now, so it'd be great if they can help
Yeah.
them. Because they did like that like what was it, 8 minute long video like last month or 2 months ago. So that'd be
Yeah.
great if they brought that back. But um yeah, like I'm always excited for these in some way. You know, I go in with like different levels of expectations, but I'm always,
Mm.
you know, you always like go in like hoping for the best. So I'm gonna go in. Obviously, I feel like PlayStation. I mean, obviously the last like 10 years, they've had a really great run. Um, they've like not every year's been great, but they've always had like a really like some pretty strong games on the way. And this is the first time since Spider-Man 2 has come out where like we don't like usually we have like not only do we know like the one big game coming, but we usually know the next two or three big games coming. Like there was that
Yep.
E3 in like 2019, I think it was the last E3,
Yeah.
where like I was maybe it was 2018, where they just showed like the four games and then like Resident Evil 2 was like the surprise. But it was like Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding, Last of Us Part 2, and there was one other one I can't remember what it was. But there was like these four big massive games they had coming. And like we've always like even like last year like we had like, oh we've got a war 2 years ago we had like, oh we have got a war coming and then we had Spider-Man 2 after that.
Yes.
Like we always knew like the next like pretty much all the big studios had something, and it was like within like a year and a half, 2 years away. Um, and this is the first time like God Spider-Man 2 came out where it's like a lot of people kept saying like like this was like the end of like God of War Ragnarok was kind of the end of phase one. Like all right, cool, like all the games that they revealed going like hey this is what's coming to the PS5 like in 2020 like that
Yeah.
they're all out all of them were out after that. And then like with
Right.
Spider-Man 2 when that really was kind of the end of phase one, but it's like there wasn't really like we don't know what phase two is though. It's like usually you have a general idea of like where things are leading, and it's just like as far as like stuff coming soon, I think I go in with like lower expectations. Like I still think
Yeah.
like us as hardcore will be more like could be more excited. Obviously, like I've been the more of a PlayStation guy the last since PS4 came out. That's been my main console of choice. The last I guess 11 years now. But like obviously I go where the games are at. But except for PC, fuck off on PC. But anyways, um, I get a shot at.
Uh,
That thing's just for taxes. That's it. And then recording this podcast. But
it's for taxes.
I use my phone for that now. I don't even know why I said that. But anyways, um, I look at like oh fuck, what's the studio that does all the remakes? Blue Point.
Blue
Uh,
Point.
I feel like they could be there. Like when they said maybe this is like pie in sky, like just getting my maybe I'm over expectations at this point. But like they said like oh don't expect Last of Us or Spider-Man. Like don't expect the biggest games that we have coming the next 9 months next year. I guess yeah, next year now. Um, but like I feel like they could still have some great games coming. Maybe they won't be like yeah, like they won't be those games that sell 10 million copies out the gate. But like I don't know, like what's Blue Point doing? Like it's been they did that Demon Souls at launch. I'm not saying that maybe that's coming immediately, but maybe that's an early next year game. Like there's been the Astrobot rumors that's coming this year. So we can have that. Like that's a smaller game I know, but like
Well, yeah, but that would just also raise another question, because Astrobot games don't really come out until you have like some sort of hardware, like, hardware release, 'Cause, like, for example, you had the PS4, you had that Astro sort of playroom and stuff. Then you had the PSVR stuff to where there was an Astrobot game there. Then most notably, launch of PS5. There was an Astrobot game that was absolutely fantastic that
yeah,
you could play from the get-go for free, and then like with the features there. I understand there has been rumors of like say an Astrobot game, and if that's if that's gonna be circling around, there has to be some sort of smoke coming from directly that, leading to some sort of like probably another like maybe a PS5 Pro or something like that entering for the rest of the
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe
later part
that's
of the
like
year.
the Pro's supposed to be coming. That's a good point. Probably bring that up. Probably assume that's going to be here. The announcement,
Yeah,
or maybe I can see them maybe wait until like because I don't think they announced this. Excuse me, I don't think they announced a Slim until like September of last year.
yeah,
So maybe they want to wait because they don't want people. It's kind of like the Switch situation. We don't want to announce it too early because people will stop buying the Switch. So maybe they wait to get to do the Pro
right.
because they still want you to buy the PS5 base model right now. Um, but maybe that's a great point though. Gables like, yeah, maybe, but like, I feel like at this point though, like, the PSVR Astrobot game you did have to buy. Obviously the other two are free, but I feel like those games have been like they've established like that the Astrobot and PSVR was like that was like the Super Mario 64 of the PSVR. Like that was the game. Like
Mm-hmm.
people were saying it was worth buying a PSVR for that one game.
Huh.
I'm not trying to say it's on par with 60 Mario 64. Don't get me wrong there, but like
Right.
like when you bought a 64, you bought Mario 64. That was what you bought it
Yes.
for
Yes,
when
you
that thing
did.
launched, and that was the thing. And that's kind of what my comparison for that is for people get pissed off at me. That fucking PSVR game or the PlayStation 5 game that was free, the Astrobot game, I can't remember what it's called. That game was fucking ruled, and I would gladly like if they put like a I don't want like a 20-hour game, but they put like a fucking 10-hour version of that. Um, I'll fucking $50. I'm in. I'll fucking buy it. That game was That game fucking ruled. So I'd be more than happy to buy that game. Buy a bigger version of that game. So and like that, like I said, that's not gonna be like a big move needle, but I just want to see them like. I think at this point we just need to like. It's weird to say like put out great games again because like they just put out Spider-Man 2 last year. Like so it's weird to say that
Mm-hmm.
and like God of War Ragnarok the year before that, but it's just like it's just for the first time in a decade now they feel kind of vulnerable. Like we don't really know like what's coming. Even like when they talked about like at the last um the earnings call they had, where it's like yeah oh yeah we've peaked. And it's like there's nothing coming for a while. It's like I don't know. I think honestly like I think we're gonna get a lot at this. I'm not saying it's gonna be stuff that's coming soon, but I feel like they're gonna come out with just swinging with like we're gonna see the Corey Barlog game that he's been apparently working on some sci-fi games since he
Mm.
finished God of War 2018. Like, where's that game at? Like, it's been 6 years now. Like, what's going on there? Um, like I wouldn't be shocked if we see that. Maybe we get a tease for the Last of Us Part 3, assuming that's real.
Mm.
Maybe we get like maybe that's I don't know like but they announced Naughty Dog kind of announces games early, but I guess they did mention though like they'd wait to like do it a little shorter this time, so because it kind of stresses them out. So okay, I get maybe take that one back, but I don't know, I feel like we're gonna like we see Wolverine, maybe we see Venom, like these games that we know because of leaks like that have happened with Insomniac. Maybe we just start showing that shit off. Like I feel like it's almost gonna be like they're gonna come out and like here's everything, or maybe not everything, but here's a lot of the shit we're doing. Like I was listening to the Kit and Krista podcast, the people that
Yeah.
did the
Nintendo
Nintendo
Minute.
the Nintendo Minute. Um, and I went back and I was listening just the other day. I was listening to like their old like they did a podcast back in like October I think or September or whatever it was. It was like the 10-year anniversary of the Wii U coming out. It was a really
Yep.
great podcast. Go back and check that out for people listening. But they were talking about like um, when the Wii U came out and like that first holiday, like they were like it was like worst case, like worse than the worst case scenario of what they thought that thing was gonna do. So like, and like they were like they decided like going into like the holiday break, like we're gonna do a big direct in January, and like Kit, who was like in charge, like kind of in charge of like help putting those together, the directs at that point in time, talked about like he had the rundown of everything, like of what was gonna be on this direct. And he's like, "What are we all worried
Mm-hmm.
about? This looks great. Like, when's this? Like, does this all come in the next year?" He's like, "No, this is everything we have in development. Like, this is all the games." And some of the shit was like,
Oh.
some of that. This is like the one where they announced like Wind Waker. They announced like Breath of the Wild. They announced Smash Brothers. Like games that didn't come out. Like they talked about like Breath of the Wild. Like all that like games that we didn't see for like literally till the end of like for years. And like Breath of the Wild barely made it on made it on the Wii U. So it's like I'm not saying we're there, but like I wouldn't be shocked though if it's like kind of like a mid like maybe closer to there than we are like everything's fine, we can just do what we want. Obviously, like, I think we'll see Concord Marathon shit like that. Probably have a big blowout for with whatever the next Destiny 2 expansion, what the fuck that thing's called. Um, like
Yep, the final shape.
yeah, that thing. The finale of Destiny 2. Um,
Yeah,
and fucking that whole company probably. But
possibly.
yeah, hopefully not. But yeah, um, I really see like I can see them just like here's like pretty much shit that's like coming in the next like year and a half. We're gonna just blow you away and like, hey, we're fucking PlayStation. Here's our dick on the table. Like here, we're gonna prove to you like, hey, everybody talking and like being concerned about us, and especially if they like with Jim Ryan gone, as hard as that is for me to accept that he's gone. Um, Excuse me, I got a little emotional there with that one. Miss my boy Jim O'Ryan. If that new CEO, that new president comes in, if he's hired, like right now we have an interim one. If he's here by May, he's probably gonna be like, hey, this is my first big like moment. I want to like show like here's all the nukes. Like I can see that coming. Like, with the new person in power. So, um, yeah, it's been obviously all the bad
Hmm.
press, all the layoffs, closing down London studios. Like, I think like they're really gonna come out and want to show like this is why we're fucking PlayStation. And I think they have the studios. Like they've proven they have the studios to put out great games. And I believe they can do it again. And yeah, I don't know. I obviously like a little concerned with like like Fair Games and Concord and Marathon, but I don't know. Maybe they can. I think they probably have enough good games in development. Honestly, for me, like I just want to know what the fuck Blue Point's doing at this point. That's fucking
Well, yeah,
interesting.
absolutely. That would be the best case scenario and stuff that we get everything that just some more bit of tidbits about what's going on in terms of their first party content or even in terms of their partnerships that they're doing for future games or updates on older games. But yeah, it's been uncharacteristically quiet by PlayStation over the
Yeah,
past couple of months. Then all that blurb and stuff about them peaking with the PS5 and like all this other crazy stuff. I mean, that's something you don't admit in terms of
yeah,
a gaming system that is doing well to that point and stuff. The last thing you want to do is just show attention to, oh, hey, we're already in the middle of the life cycle of this, and
yeah,
now it's just downhill from here.
yeah. It's like I know like the Switch, like obviously the second half in a lot of ways was from a sales perspective was probably better than the first half.
Yeah.
Um, Obviously, a lot of situations have happened because of that. We had a fucking pandemic,
Yep.
and like Animal Crossing came out at like the perfect fucking time. Like
Yep.
things happen to cause that to like to really have a second life, basically. And I'm not saying they can have that, but it's like PlayStation 4 like had a great like the second half of the PlayStation 4 was better than the first half of the PS4.
Yes, it was.
So
Absolutely.
it's not like I know like we always talk about like games take longer in development, like all these layoffs, but it's like there's still people out there making games, and there's a lot of studios that have not of their big studios that have not put a game out on this generation, and there's a lot of studios that put out games at the very beginning of this generation from them. So
Yep.
it's like I gotta believe there's some other shit coming. Um, but let's move on, Gables, to some Xbox rumors here. So
Okay.
some more stuff here. This also some of the stuff is from like Tom Warren, Insider Gaming. I think that's Tom Henderson, and then Jeff Grubb as well. So a combination of a lot of people here. So Jeff Grubb mentioned on the Kind of Funny XCast that the plan right now is to have to reveal Gear 6 at Summer Game Fest. Insider Gaming revealed that apparently we're also going to see State of Decay 3, which was a game that was revealed at the original Xbox event for the Xbox Series consoles in 2020.
Wow.
And then Tom Warren from The Verge mentioned that, and I believe Jez from Windows Central has also kind of talked about some of these things as well. That Black Ops. So the next Call of Duty game, we've heard about this before. The next
Yeah.
Call of Duty game is a Black Ops game, and it's going to be called Black Ops Gulf War. This is the first Call of Duty game that actually got a 4 year uh, development cycle.
Huh.
Usually have three. Um, I believe there was like a year where like they like made like um, Treyarch do like two in like a 2 year period or something.
Okay.
So we should get some. So some of the stuff here though is what we've been hearing is that we could hear about it. There might be like when we've seen this before. Like they used to like always like reveal it in like May and then
Yep.
do the big blowout in like at E3. and they've since kind of gone away with it the last few years. Where like they reveal it, and they like the reveal is like they tease it and they finally show it off in Warzone. And I guess they want to go away from that real like, and then they kind of do the big blowout in like August or something like that. I guess they're kind of doing a combination of all these things now. So they're like, it sounds like we might get a reveal in like May or like maybe like shortly before Summer Game Fest. So maybe earlier than like maybe like the first week of June. And then we're gonna see more of it at Summer Game Fest. And then like the big bit, and like this stuff's gonna focus on the campaign part. And then in August, the plan is to show. So Raven is handling the campaign. Treyarch is handling the multiplayer and zombie mode. We'll see the multiplayer and zombie stuff probably in August, and the game is expected to release in October. But what's interesting about this one is that this game will have an open world campaign, and that's something that they kind of did a little bit in the Modern Warfare 3, because like that was like the game that was kind of like was supposed to be DLC and they turned into another game.
Okay.
So and they kind of did that a little bit where they basically just took like it's weird because like usually like like we play like multiplayer mode, and they literally would just take like a section of like the campaign maps
Mm-hmm.
and make them like take a section out of that and make a multiplayer level around it. And now they're kind
Yeah.
of like doing the opposite, where it's like they're taking they're building the multiplayer and then they're taking that and like building out of them. I guess but anyways, so they kind of did that a little bit in like I said, Modern Warfare 3 last year. They kind of talked about like it ended up being like not as like it was kind of like a half step thing where they kind of like from I didn't play the game, but like people were saying like it wasn't entirely that. It was more like some like open area. There's some certain sections that were open, but it was a little bit more what you expect. No idea. Obviously, this could be like a bigger. Like that was kind of like the half step before we got to the big thing. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
open world games is becoming a thing. Also, this is a 4 year development cycle, so they have more time possibly to do this. But I mean, Gables, let's just talk about Call of Duty here for a second. What do you think on this one, buddy?
I'm trying to grasp my head around a potential open world Call of Duty game. That's just the thing that's kind of like that's just the thing that's kind of like can well kind of piqued my interest the most and stuff because we know how Call of Duty generally is in terms of their single player experiences. They're usually contained in like certain levels or some. You got various
Mm.
objectives you got to do within those set levels, and
It's like a
then
hall. It's basically just hallways.
yeah, it's basically hallways, like corridors almost and stuff, to where it's like that you satisfy that, and you go on to the next section, and then go on to the next section after that. It's been linear like that ever since its inception. But for hearing the rumors and stuff, I would not doubt that we're gonna have a Call of Duty game released later on this year because it's just the gift that really keeps on giving, regardless of how we feel about it or not. It's like doing something a bit different, and then is one thing, and then hearing more like the longer development cycle for this one in specific. I don't know. I think I'm kind of more interested in seeing how this is going to plan out because I'm kind of curious to see how Call of Duty would not only work as an open world game, but how much time and effort they're going to put into this initial like Black Ops style campaign. You know,
Mm.
so that's pretty much probably one of the more interested I've been in knowing more information about a Call of Duty game in a long time.
Yeah.
But other than that, though, the other Xbox rumors and stuff, I am not doubting in the least. I mean, and like the new Gears game, I mean, that's kind of a given. State of Decay 3, we haven't heard anything about it since 2020, and here it is, like 4 years later almost and stuff, and like now we're starting to get updates upon those certain aspects. Well, Summer's Game Fest is like literally a couple months away, so hearing rumors of those games potentially being shown and stuff, it had some more credence. It definitely has some more credence because you know how Microsoft wants to try to like build up their now they're trying to build up, like consistently some of their first party content and stuff, regardless of what game goes on to what platform. But we're starting to see the crux of it this year, with a lot of like big releases and stuff. And then, hearing an announcement of a Gear 6 or a release date for State of Decay 3, it's starting to tie up rather well now. I would actually believe that this is probably what's going to happen in the months to come. But
Yeah.
yeah, this seems much more believable.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you. You look at like Gears 5 came out in September. August, it was like I think it was like Labor Day weekend,
Yep.
2019. So it's been almost 5 years. I know like um, the Coalition who makes the Gears games, they're kind
Yeah.
of like the Unreal team. So they're also a support team that go and like help teams like especially like when they're jumping to Unreal Engine 5. They're like the team they like
Yeah.
were like they've always been obviously with Unreal. Like they've been the gear like Gears is built out of Unreal. Um,
Yeah.
but like they've also been helping a lot, like supporting a lot of games as well, teaching other studios how to use Unreal. They've been working a lot. They were like at one point they were making like a smaller game, like kind of like a smaller game. They're making to kind of get used to the Unreal 5 engine, that engine.
Yes.
Um, and that game got canceled after all the layoffs that happened last year. So I think they were working on something else as well that didn't really come to like that was like early development. But
Mm.
they've always been working on Gears 6 in the like as well. Obviously, like you always got to be working on a Gears game. Um, I don't know if that game's gonna be soon. I'm like look, I'm a huge fucking Gears fan. I'm a gigantic. I have like multiple fucking statues back there of Gears, and Funko Pops as well. I love Gears. I'm one of the weirdos out there that like loves Gears 4 and 5 more than the first three games, and Judgment, I guess. So I know I'm weird like that, but like I'm so pumped. Apparently, this game is also gonna be open world. It's just fuck me, like Resident Evil 9 is gonna be open world, Gear 6 is gonna be open world. Can we just, man, like,
Can we stop with the open world games, for
yes,
God's sake? The oversaturation of open world games is really ridiculous. I'd actually much more prefer it now if it's just a straight linear game of like a 5 to 10 hour experience, and I'd be
yeah,
perfectly set with that as long as you don't charge $70 for the goddamn thing.
I'll pay $70 if it's for a 15-hour game. I don't give a fuck as long as it's great, and I don't give a shit. Honestly, at this
Well,
point, I'd rather pay $70 for a 15-hour great game than an 80-hour
hmm,
okay game. So
you do bring up a good point. I mean, let's think of it this way. Remember when Journey came out on the PS3 and that was like $20? It was like kind of like a 2 hour experience, but it was probably some of the best 2 hour one of the best 2 hour
yeah,
experiences
I
ever
think
on
IGN
that
made it.
console.
I think IGN voted it as Game of the Year. It was like 2009, and it's like, yeah, it probably was the Game of the Year that year. I can't remember. I guess obviously I don't remember everything that came out in like that year it came out, but
But I
um,
do remember that game releasing, and even though it didn't last a long time, it was so perfect in the way that it presented itself that
it's like
that kind of proves
that's why I tell
that
my
literally.
exes after sex. It's like it didn't last a long time, but it was perfect.
But here's the but the
Sorry.
thing about it, Tyler, it's like with all of these rumblings of games, like not just Call of Duty, but the new Gears game being like open world and stuff, it comes at the point we're so like dependent upon games not being like say these huge ass experiences that spend like 40 or 50 hours in each
Mhm.
world here. Having something that's like a set like 5 to 10 hour game that's super good or something like that, that's part of the reason why people like to return back to certain retro games because these classics that we've enjoyed for years, like say a Donkey Kong Country or like Metal Gear Solid or like hell, even like games as recent as like this year, say like a Balatro or whatsoever. These are like games you could beat like within a week, but they're super good and you still
Yeah.
go back to play them.
Well, I do know people that put like 100 hours in the Balatro, so I don't know. I don't know. I haven't played
That's
it,
true
but
too, but at the
yeah.
same time, it kind
I
of puts credence in
if
some
I
of that
every
stuff.
game could just be like to me Spider-Man 2, like I didn't love like I really liked Spider-Man 2. I would say love, I guess. Yeah, I love Spider-Man 2. Um like it's a weird thing to complain about cuz it's like, oh, it's just more of this thing I already loved before. It's like when like you put like a half pound of like delicious pulled pork in front of me and I eat all of it and it's like, oh, that was really great. And then you put like another half pound in front of me. It's like, oh, man, I don't know how much more of this want. That's kind of like how going from Spider-Man 1 to 2 was for me, I guess, in a weird way. Um, but it's like we're in a time though where like I played my game in like 28 hours, and like when I remember when reviews came out, people were mentioning, oh, I did 100% of the game in less than 30 hours, and people were like lost their fucking mind about that because like, oh, that's it. I heard like talked to other people like, oh yeah, I platinum in like a weekend. I'm like, well, that's on you. That's your fucking fault. That's not my fault.
That's exactly,
Dude,
yeah.
fuck you. Get a life. I don't know. They'll spend 15 hours a day playing fucking one video game. I get a life coming from a guy that just plays video games all day. But anyways, I have a job too, I guess. But like, but anyways, yeah, I don't know. It's just it's weird. Like that's just the time we're in now, where it's like if it's not a live service game or it's not like a 600 fucking hour goddamn open world game, people don't want to play it, and I don't know, it sucks. Because yeah, it's like I love the Gears games, but like in Gears 5 like was my game of the year 2018, but like and they kind of like experimented with like the open area stuff, kind of like what Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 did last year, where they kind of were experimenting with like some side stories and like here's like you can go in these open areas, which I actually kind of like open area games. Like I like that kind of more than like one
Mm-hmm.
gigantic open world. Um, as long as it's done well, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. Like I'm still excited. Like I actually really like the story of Gears of 4 and 5, and I can't wait to see what's going on. Like what they do with like Kate and JD, and like they do this like weird like you make a choice late in the game thing. I'm like I didn't love that in Gears 5, and I'm kind of curious where that plays out at the end. I'm not going to spoil that for people that maybe haven't played it. But yeah, um, yeah, but I'm excited to see what it is because, like I said, it's been nearly 5 years uh, since Gears 5, and maybe this like after I see that, it'll just like I'll be excited to play that, do a replay of Gears 5 because I've been wanting to play it. It's been installed on my Xbox Series X for a long time now. State of K3, yeah, it makes sense. Like they revealed that in 2020, and it's almost like I don't know, like people are like I think it's more like people talking rather than like facts of like Gear 6, like oh maybe that's like the game that's like that kicks off the next generation, or it's like or something like that. Which I'm like if that's the case, like maybe just wait on that, especially if it's not going to come to this console, or maybe I guess they can do like the whole backwards like compatibility thing. Uh, but yeah, like there's like I talk about like PlayStation, like basically everything except for Stellar Blade. Um, I know it was that weird Capcom game with the girl and the robot as well. But
Reboot. No, not reboot, but like Recore.
No, Recore. What? No, Gables. Recore was that Xbox exclusive from like 2016. Why are you bringing that game up? That game hurt me. That's the one game I fell asleep to during Extra
You
Life.
said girl and a robot and stuff, and
Uh,
it's Xbox related, and I
place,
immediately thought Recore.
Cap, that game physically pained me. Uh, game, games. I gotta look it
It's
up.
like it's not
Uh,
getting to come, but I know that's not it.
remember it was at that really awful.
Pragmata.
Yes, thank you, Pragmata. Thank you. I slapped my
I
hand
knew I
really
could
hard.
eventually.
uh, but anyways, it is now 1 a.m. here. But anyways, like Pragmata and Stellar Blade were like the only two games that were revealed at 2020 PlayStation event that haven't come out yet. Um, Meanwhile, Xbox has like revealed a shit ton, and like I know like Hellblade 2 is coming next month, which is I am so fucking pumped for that fucking game. Gable, speaking of games, I think it's supposed to be like you can beat that game in like 8 hours. So fuck yeah. I cannot. I mean like
That
I love
actually
Hellblade.
sounds a lot more appealing,
Yes,
actually.
Gables. Let me tell you, Hellblade 1, it's like 5 hours. Fucking play
Oh,
it. It's fantastic. But anyways, um, but there's like Perfect Dark still is a game that they revealed like 4 years ago, and it's like I think
haven't heard anything about it.
yeah, like I like there's been like the rumblings and the rumors of like that game's been in development hell forever, and like that studio like wasted like multiple years like but didn't know what to do, and like what I think Crystal Dynamics is like working on it basically, and they've already like they're working on like multiple other games as well. They're making the Tomb Raider game for Amazon, so I don't fucking know Gables, but there was just so many games that, like during in 2020 they just like talked about and we haven't heard from or we've heard very little about in the last several years
Hmm.
now. So it's like I don't know, like as much as I'd love to see Gear 6, it's like especially if that game's coming to the next console, that's a cross-gen game. Like let's hear about these games that you revealed several years ago. It's like yeah, I'm a huge fan of
Right.
Game Pass. Like I'm a big fan of Xbox here, but yeah, I just like I want to hear about the shit you've already announced and like what's coming to Game Pass soon. That's shit I want more anything. And then like the Call of Duty thing, like I'm kind of with the Gables. Like honestly, this is the most I don't want to say excited, but I guess curious. I've been about Call of Duty
Yep.
for a long time now. Like I was someone that like played all of it. I beat every single one up until I think World War II was the first time like when that came out. Was like 2017 or something like that. It was the first time I'm like I just skipped one. Maybe it was like 2018 or 19. I can't remember. But anyways, like I played like I played a Cold War and I thought that was fine. I've dabbled since then, but this is the most curious I've seen. Like, okay, how do they do open world? I guess like I don't know. Like the gameplay in Call of Duty is great. Like, but also another thing I forgot to mention here, I skipped over this. I'm going to come back to it. is there's been this. It sounds like we should get some information on the backlog of those Activision Blizzard games as well.
Oh,
So obviously, there's been that long discussion of like they all right. So they've owned Activision Blizzard for I don't know what, like 6 months now, give or take. Um,
yeah.
I thought by now for sure, like they said they would talk about that in 2024, early 2024. It's like we're now in
Hmm.
April. I know like they put Diablo 4, which is probably the biggest game I guess you can put from them on Game Pass. Like that's because
Right.
it's newer. Uh, but I'm like, where the fuck is Tony Hawk? Gables is what I want to know about. Like what's
I
going
know,
on with
right?
like what's going on with a lot of these Blizzard games that could potentially come. Like, do we get like some of these old Diablos? Obviously, like all the other Call of Duties um, that Activision made, like, are those going to come? The Crash games, Spyro games, like, um, I imagine I wouldn't be shocked honestly if like that's like, hey, and it's out today. Like that's kind of what I'm expecting, or like at least like here's a good chunk now, and then like, hey, here's all these other games. They're coming like like a week from now or a month from now. Like I don't know, but that was
Some of
kind of
those
the
old
last.
Transformer games too, you know?
Yeah, that's the problem that we talked about. Yeah, like I would love it if those games came, those two Transformer games from the 360 era. Um, what sucks though about the Activision when you go back and look at their catalog, it's like it's a lot of like IP games that they don't own the IP to. So like
Right.
it's one of those things where it's like maybe it's like stuck in IP hell. Like maybe it's just like a lot of work to put those out. But like cool story that came out today actually. I forgot to put this in the show notes. Sarah Bond came out and they said that they put the team together now on Xbox to work on game preservation.
Oh,
So that's a really
okay.
cool thing. I'll go look at I'll find the article. I'll send the article to you, and we'll talk about it next week possibly.
Game
Uh,
Princess. Okay.
yeah, but like they're really gonna try to like I would say of like the big three companies, Xbox probably been the best at game preservation as far as like giving you the option to like go back and play like you can go back and play Xbox games on your current Xbox console, like
Yeah,
original
they're
Xbox
the
games.
only ones that actually really do that.
Yeah, and not like like obviously like or like you can buy 360 games on your Xbox like that on your
Yeah.
Xbox Series console, which is great. It's like PlayStation. It's like cool. We have this catalog that's $150 a year, and like Nintendo's like, hey, cool. Like every time a new console comes out, we're gonna charge you a unnecessary amount of money to keep buying things over and over again, and we're gonna
Yep.
slowly give them to you over 1,200 years, and then
Yep.
once we finally give you the full collection, we're gonna start over again. So
Yep.
um, yeah, so it's exciting. But I mean, how excited for you are you potentially about possibly getting a bunch of old Activision Blizzard games?
It really depends upon what games they initially release. I mean, there are definitely some exciting things from that I would love to give a play. I mean, well, for a good case and example, I mean, there definitely is a lot of IP tied games and stuff like that from the Activision Blizzard back catalog and stuff I would be interested in playing on like the modern systems. Obviously, the two Transformers games that are leaked probably in IP hell. Those ones are the ones like War for Cybertron and stuff like that. Plus, the Fall of Cybertron. Both of those I would really like to at least give a shot at playing and stuff. Trying to think of some other ones. I mean,
Did,
even if
did
they had the what's up?
did Activision make the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games?
Mm,
I'm gonna Google it.
in Marvel? I
The
don't know about that one
Marvel
because
Ultimate.
I don't think Marvel had like. I know they had like some Mar. I mean,
Oh,
Activision Blizzard
it was Raven Software, which is now
was
owned.
Raven Software,
So which at that point in time, like they're the ones making the Call of Duty Black Ops Gulf War.
right?
So um,
I think it would be really funny if, like, say, some of the older like Spider-Man games just got released on Game Pass and stuff from Activision
yeah,
Blizzard.
yeah. I
Uh,
honestly, if I could just play Marvel Ultimate Alliance online, in. I'm like, I will
dude,
really play that game. I love that game back in the day.
I think it'd be hilarious if like he had some of those older Spider-Man games and stuff, especially the
Yeah.
Web of Shadows one that's like
Oh
super
yeah.
expensive.
Yeah.
Like I know there are other types of games and stuff
The
that
Tobey Maguire Spider-Man games.
oh god, yeah, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man games, those movie games, that would be hilarious if they
Yeah.
actually got the rights to re-release those on Game Pass.
Deliver some pizzas.
But I'm just trying to look up the actual pricing right now for Spider-Man Web of Shadows. Spider-Man Web of Shadows. Because I remember it being pretty expensive.
I want the Marvel Ultimate Alliance, the Wii version though, on Xbox Game Pass if I can get that version.
Hmm. Oh yeah.
Just so I can use the waggle controls. Um,
Well, let's see. The PlayStation 3 version of that is like somebody bought it for like $94.95. That's
ugh.
one of those things. Web of Shadows, Microsoft disc only $75.
Yeah, I'm going through like looking at like a lot of their games from like 2000 to 2010, and it's
Yeah.
really like, it's like Disney's Tarzan. There's a Star
Yeah.
Trek game in there. Toy Story 2. There's
That's the
just like
problem
it's like
because
a
a lot
lot
of
of
these
Marvel games and Disney games.
yeah, a lot of those IP games, a lot of those IPs and stuff from Activision Blizzard from like back around 20 years ago. A lot of those are probably not going to have a good chance of making it on there because a lot of them are kind of questionable in terms of their quality. But
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's a little mix of everything.
yeah. I don't know. Like I'm excited. I'm honestly just shocked it hasn't happened already. But that could be like the cool like finale of hey, here's a bunch of games. If they have the goods. And honestly, like just the opportunity to play Black Ops again, because that game was like $50 digitally still. So if I could just
Oh yeah.
buy that game or have a game on Game Pass, it'd be fucking awesome. Because they actually went back and like updated those servers like last year, and
Yes, they did.
so that'd be great if we could play that again. Um,
Oh, probably can go back to the original Black Ops and stuff like that, and probably download my DLC and try to
yes, yes.
do the Nazi zombie stuff.
Oh my God, yes. I just want to go back to some of those levels. Oh man. Um, that was also Black Ops also had the one where you can like play the multiplayer levels like against bots.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I played the fuck out of that because I was not good at that game, but I played a lot of that. So that'd be great if I could do that again. Um, but let's move on to some other news this week, Gables.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of cool here. So on the PS Extra tier, um, on day one, Dave the Diver, which I believe is coming April 16th. And then
Mm-hmm.
Tales of Kanzera Zao, which is coming April 23rd. Those games will
Oh,
be
that
on
game. Yeah.
those will be on PS Plus Extra on day one. So pretty cool there. Um, and I was I've talked about this before. Like the day that game went up for pre-order, like Tales of Kanzera Zao, I just I bought it pre-ordered on Xbox because there was like a game like a EA Play discount. So it's like
Right.
I think I got it for like $15. I think it's like 18 otherwise. And I was like, oh, I'll just get a. I was like, oh, I'll get a refund at Xbox. I just have the base tier of PlayStation Plus. And I couldn't remember the exact price of extra. I was like, I'll just upgrade to extra for the year. Fuck it, and just get because there'll be something else I probably want to play on there. Or I just have the back catalog as well. It's $55 more for the extra tier. So
Jeez.
I will just keep the pre-ordered copy I have of Kanzera Zao on Xbox instead. Fuck you on that. If it was like I was thinking it was like $20 more, $30 more. I'm like, I'll
Oh
just pay
no.
no, $135 a year for the extra tier. So
Yeah, that's part of the reason why I don't have like a PlayStation Plus subscription right at this moment because I literally have Game Pass, which quite honestly is a lot better in terms of their day one stuff. Plus, I got
yeah,
a freaking PC as well, dude. I mean, I can
those are the
play my
worst.
games online for free with PC.
Yeah, yeah. I just I finally got hit. Like I there was like a fuck up somewhere years ago, and like I got like 4 or 5 years of PS Plus when it was back when it was like $60 a year, but I got it for like $100. I got like 4 or 5 years worth for like $100.
Oh,
So I bought all those and finally ended like 3 weeks ago. And
wow.
I got hit with that $80 and with tax and everything. So literally the same day my Amazon Prime and my PS Plus came up and I was like $250. I was just like, oh, I was not expecting that to hit me all like at all or on the same day, so that hurt. Uh, so I was like, ah, fuck. Like I was like, that was the first time in like over a decade where I've just had this is the thing you had. Now it's like I don't know, $90 for like I I don't play the games. The only thing it's really worth it for is I guess the cloud saving, which Xbox does for free. Um, yeah, but anyways, that's pretty cool. But hey, like at least they're doing some shit here, and they got two pretty big games coming, to PS Plus extra. Because for the most part they usually we get like one or two, and then they could get like last year we got Tachia, the year before that we got Stray,
Yep.
and maybe a couple smaller games here and there. But like I don't know, it's kind of crazy that we're getting two big games in like a 1 week period from them. So like if they continually do shit like this for $135 a year, like if they continually have some pretty cool like indie games and stuff coming, Like I would, I'd be fine paying that money, but I don't know. Right now, it's hard to justify the 90 I'm paying right now. But
Yeah.
next up, though, Ubisoft officially announced their Ubi Forward on June 10th. So that's happening on Monday. Hopefully, it is not like last year's dreadful 2 hour plus long event. And then remember when they had the guys come out and sing the Skull and Bones song,
Yep.
and then they announced the beta, and then immediately canceled the beta. So that was there
Yep.
wasn't even a trailer. They just had a guy, people come out, not even talk shit, but like they were good. I thought they were fine. So like, why was that necessary? I don't know. And then the
Just
game
random
still,
sea shanties. That's
uh,
it.
yeah, and then the game didn't come out for like another 9 months, and it came out and got 61 on OpenCritic. So anyways, speaking of Ubisoft, Star Wars Outlaws is getting a story trailer on April 9th. That is Tuesday. I believe that is like 7 a.m. Pacific time. That's happening. So I'm assuming not a lot of gameplay content because they're calling this the story trailer. So it's probably just be a
Right.
lot of like CG cutscene stuff. But I'm excited. Like I'm somebody that like a lot of people with Star Wars, very out, like a huge fan. It's hard for me to get in, but when I'm in, I'm fucking in. So
Mm.
I liked what I saw last year when we got some of that gameplay. So I'd like to see more of this because I don't know, like after watching like Andor last year and then also Jedi Survivor, I thought was just fucking awesome. So I'm down for as much as I bitch and complain about Star Wars, um, I'm in if it's great. If it's great, it's great. It's like professional wrestling. When it's great, it's fucking great.
Yep.
But when it's bad, it's bad. Like some of these entrances we're getting at WrestleMania. We're 17 fucking minutes of entrances. Anyways, oh, no, that's actually it. Sorry, that was the last thing I had. This is what happens when we're recording podcasts after 1 in the morning here. But anyways, Gables, let's get into what we've been playing. Do you want to go first?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to go first?
Dude, I'll just go first because it's going to be a little bit of a blurb, really. I mean, I've just been playing a lot of like random stuff. Nothing really concrete, nothing like really like say new or extravagant and stuff. As I mentioned earlier on in the podcast, I had been playing a little. I have been like getting on like a Yu-Gi-Oh kind of kick or something like that. Like I've been watching like the older anime stuff. I've been like just not like binge watching per se, but like a couple episodes like here and there and stuff. And like I'm already getting close to the end of the Battle City arc and stuff with that. Right before that initial filler arc that you just talked about.
Are you watching the filler arcs or are you just skipping them? Because sometimes I go back and I'll get on a run of like watching some of the old Yu-Gi-Ohs or some of the old Pokemon episodes, and I just skip the filler episodes.
Well, it's one of those things now to where it's been such a long time that I'm gonna go ahead and watch the filler arc just to see what
Okay,
just probably what it was and stuff because I remember them being long and drawn out back then because you know how like the new episodes would just literally come out like about maybe once one or two episodes maybe like a week
yeah, like
but
a month go by and nothing's progressed.
so that being said though I mean I decided to go back to do like Legacy of the Duelist and stuff on the PS4 because that's just one of those games I like going back to because I really love playing the game of Yu-Gi-Oh. However, I have fallen out of wanting to buy the cards physically because those are fucking expensive. I don't have anything in the local area to where I can go through and readily play against other people. And on top of that, I'm so out of the game in terms of like say brushed up stuff. I literally have not played like competitively in person or something like that since like around 2005. So it's definitely a huge amount of time has passed between then and now, and a lot of new deck types, a lot of new formats, and also a lot of new summoning mechanics have been introduced since the last time I really liked playing Yu-Gi-Oh! The card game. But if there's one thing I have been playing in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh! Stuff, it has been video game format. So I've played games on the Game Boy Advance, on the DS and stuff, on the PS3 and Xbox as well, like Xbox 360, and now, yeah, on the PS4, I have currently like 130 some odd hours on just that game alone, and it's just because it's the stuff I like to do, right? I have a whole bunch of cards that I've accumulated through beating like the random AI stuff. So it gives me a lot of time to devise what type of decks, what type of strategies and stuff that I want to do. Like, for example, because each individual like set mode no, like set story mode stuff is literally divided within series of Yu-Gi-Oh shows and stuff. I predominantly stick with the first one, but like relive some of the like battles of that initial series, like the most important ones. So what I have been doing, I've been going through just the original Yu-Gi-Oh matches, and I have been experimenting with an Exodia deck because I want I it's actually one of the more fascinating things that I have never really delved into, and that's the concept of just using like an Exodia deck per se. And so, for those just wondering, what's an Exodia deck? It's basically in Yu-Gi-Oh! There are a couple different win options, and one of them is collecting the 5 pieces of Exodia in your hand, and that means you automatically win the game. So, in order to do that, you need cards that support it and try to draw out, draw out, and thin out your deck quicker. You have to mill your deck in order to get the cards you need. So, in order to do that, I'm doing it basically against the AI and stuff. So I'm just wanting to see how quickly I can get these cards. And what's hilarious is there was like maybe one match I've ever had against the AI to where I literally milled like almost half my deck of like 40 cards and stuff just to get to just in one turn. It didn't really end the game or anything else like that, but I've because of because the main story mode game does not really limit how many cards you put inside of your deck that are like say on the ban list or this or that. I can generally just put 3 Pot of Greed inside my deck or 3 Graceful Charity and like 3 Upstart Goblin stuff. So it's like all of these cards I can just use just to draw cards from my deck. And on top of comboing it with another different card like Heart of the Underdog, which if I draw a normal type monster, I show it to my opponent, but then I can draw again. And if I draw another normal type monster, I show my opponent I get to draw again until I get either a effect monster or a spell or trap card. But just basically what I had been doing was going through each matchup, like say Yugi versus Joey or like Yugi versus Kaiba multiple different times. If I cannot play through it with just the story deck of what like the game wants me to play it with in story mode, I generally use my user deck, and it literally ends up being a game of I don't attack my opponent at all. I either draw like Mystical Elf or Giant Soldier of Stone or Blazing Impachi and just set them in the defense mode. Have a field spell card of like Chorus of Sanctuary, which increases my monster's defense by 500 points, like defense points by like 500. And it just goes into my opponent trying to attack my monsters and then subsequently getting ship damage because of that. But I've ended up figuring out, okay, just doing it that way is not enough because you'll have opponents try to bypass your monsters by either using destruction cards or they'll end up attacking in some way, especially if they summon big powerful monsters like Blue Eyes White Dragon or this or that. That's why I incorporated a card by the name of Level Limit Area B, which this is a card that I've used personally back when I was playing the game in high school. I have 2 of those in my deck, and those that spell card tell actually switches monsters a level 4 and higher into defense mode. So we generally have a combo to where I lock down my opponent's side. My side is all full of monsters. I have literally like say a level limit area B, maybe like 2 Heart of the Underdogs or something like that, and like a Swords Revealing Light that's on the field and stuff. But I generally have like one slot open for like a spell or trap card stuff, and I basically go through the entirety of this stuff until I finally get my Exodia pieces. And so that's how I end up winning. Sometimes it takes about 5 minutes. Some of the more some of the more like longer matches that I've had with this deck was surprisingly the last duel of the original Yu-Gi-Oh series, to where it's just Yugi versus the Pharaoh. And the reason why is because like little Yugi has like a monster by the name of Silent Swordsman. The Silent Swordsman cards are kind of important because if you upgrade them to say like level 5 or level 7, they're unaffected by spell cards. So it bypasses anything in terms of like say putting them in a defense mode or say for example if you have Swords of Revealing Light or something like that, it doesn't affect the monster so it can attack. So that was kind of like the only hiccup I've had though, but other than that, I've tried out other deck types before. I've tried a Jinzo themed deck. I've tried like a spellcaster themed deck stuff. But there are definitely a lot of other like ideas and definitely a lot of other mechanics I haven't delved into quite yet. But at the same time, it's just that comfort of playing something familiar. It's that comfort of wanting to just chill, maybe a game like right before work or like a game right before bed or something like that. But speaking of comfort stuff, what's hilarious, I did pay for like Switch Online again, and I was just what's hilarious about that shit is like I'm still going to some of the go-tos, like just randomly I just played throughout the past like week or two, chipping away at Super Mario 64, right? And I basically just did a whole entire run through to where I didn't collect any type of like red coins and stuff for the main courses, except for like the Bowser courses for some reason. Just trying to mix up things a little bit differently. But other than that, though, on April Fool's Day, I get a package from eBay, right? And the thing about that was, last week I was telling you about, I ordered two games, right? And one of them was like came in the mail or something like that. That was Sonic Adventure, right? And like Sonic Adventure 2 came in on April Fool's Day, right? So I paid about $70 for this game. Like just to put this, I paid about $70 on this game. I open up the package. I kind of dust off the disc and stuff, a little fiber cloth, put it in my Dreamcast. The game doesn't boot up. It basically, I've done everything to bust like the buffer, the disc and stuff with like some of the disc. That's kind of like the disc stuff. End up finding out there is a chip at the edge of the disc, literally at the edge of the disc itself. And the reason why that's important, the Dreamcast optical discs, they read information from edge to center. So if something is impeding the reading process of the data, which in this case and scenario is a little chip, like a little crack, like right at the edge right there, it's not going to load up correctly. So I've buffed the disk a couple of times. I've tried like wiping like off of the fiber cloth. I'm probably going to try something else different in terms of maybe, I don't know, toothpaste, who the fuck knows at this point. Basically, I just bought like a $70 weight, and there's no way really I can return it for my cash because the guy had like pictures and everything, and the seller did have good reviews and this and that. But they had pictures. They said it was fully functional, but it would not load and play. It literally, when I put it in my Dreamcast, it's like, okay, it looks like it's booting up. Then it goes to then it actually goes into the system menu. And when you go to say do a play, it tries to load up, and then it just stops spitting. It just goes back into that. So that was probably one of the worst April Fools that I pretty much could remember for a long while, to where I
Mm.
spend money on this game, came in the mail, it seemed all nice and good. The disc itself is fine, but the game would not work. So unfortunately, this is going to stop a lot of my Dreamcast purchases for a while because I end up spending like about over $100 for two games. I basically have one of the two games that I got and I wanted. One was extremely good condition and looked like it hardly been played. The other one had a chip. So yeah, it's gonna be a while before I actually want to purchase anything from eBay for.
So
But yeah,
Sonic Adventure 2 was the one that wasn't working.
no, yeah, exactly. It just wasn't
Okay.
working.
Do you ever think that maybe the Dreamcast is trying to help you and do you a favor?
Oh, for God's sake! I knew you'd try something like this, but I'm just saying.
It's a fair question. Like, hey, maybe the like, you know what? It's April Fool's Day. He already paid $70. He's a fool enough for buying a Sonic game. Let's save him the embarrassment of actually playing this game.
It's just the Dreamcast is like all of a sudden sentient or something like that. So, this poor soul. I'm gonna save him the satisfaction of playing Sonic Adventure 2.
Honestly, like if I were to put a Sonic game in my console, I would want my console to come to life and do whatever it has to do to stop me from playing it. Whether if it has to physically take me out, then take me out. Um,
So, for say, if you try to play a Sonic game on your PS5 and all of a sudden it just stops and just the screen turns black and all of a sudden it just starts sentient, like talking to you, is like, what the fuck are you doing, Tyler?
Gibble's arms and legs would come out of that fucking thing and kick me in the nuts, and I'd be like, fair enough, I deserved it. So, um, honestly, I would say maybe you're lucky. You know, maybe you're lucky. Maybe you're lucky your Dreamcast. I would maybe sleep with one eye open, and just keep an eye on that Dreamcast, Gables, because I think maybe there's something going on with that Dreamcast. Look back, maybe look at see maybe there's like I don't know, a serial killer's soul is sucked into the Dreamcast and might come to life, and you know make a trilogy of movies out about it. So I don't know. Uh,
Oh, so like Chucky.
yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I was referencing. Yes. So Cable's turn around looking at it right now. He's like, oh fuck
I
it.
am looking at it right now, because it's like all of a sudden it just starts giving me the evil eye. Like, oh
Yeah.
great.
I'm gonna like fly to your house one day. I'm just gonna like put like a red wig on it. Just to fuck with you.
Just randomly, you just come in my room or something, put a red wig and just disappear out of
Yeah.
nowhere. Like,
It's just like have like a butter knife next to it. It's like what the fuck? What is happening here? Have a also have a turkey baster on the other side for no reason.
okay, but
Gabe was
okay,
like, all right, this
that
was
is
fun.
no fit.
No, I'm out. It's like murdering is funny. Turkey baster, too much, too far, too far. Gables is out. All right.
Oh, Jesus Christ, though. But other than that, with gaming related stuff, I keep having my friend who is largely into Destiny 2 trying to loop me back into trying to play the game, and also in
Oh,
terms of oh, he just keeps do like the random updates or something like that. Oh, the next season here is going to be actually free to play. You don't have to pay like $10 or something like that per season just in order to play it. Or like, oh, hey, there's a new mode. It's called a Pantheon mode. So it's going to be like a boss rush. And so it's going to be coming out next week. I'm like, well, bless his soul. I mean, he heavily loves playing Destiny 2. He's been trying to get me to do like raid stuff. He's been getting me to try to do this and do that and stuff. I've been nice. I've been doing this and that in terms of that stuff, but I'm waiting until June for the final shape to see if this is actually worthwhile or not, because the last thing I want to do is spend my time playing Destiny 2, building up. Oh, there's something good here. Maybe it's going to be building up into some good expansion in terms of the final shape, and all of a sudden it just completely flopping. That's
yeah,
the worst fear. Wasting time playing something that's not going to have a payoff.
like Sonic
But
Adventures
uh,
too. Sorry, I had to go back to that. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Yeah, don't get yourself stuck back in just for disappointment. So I get it. You're a stronger man than I, because I'd probably get sucked back in. Um,
I've already spent enough time playing Destiny.
yeah, yeah. All right.
But other
Uh,
than that, though, that's pretty much all I've been playing, Tyler. How about you?
I've only been playing one game this week. It's a remake of a game that came out.
Oh,
The remake came out, I think in February. I like pre-ordered it and like because it was like there was like a discount. I think the game was like $17, $15, something like that. And I think I got it for like 12 or something. So I went and pre-ordered it, but finally just got around to it. Uh, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, the remake. Finally went through and played that. This game, like, I've wanted to check it out for a while now. Like, I remember when it came out. Like, I played the demo in like 2013 on 360, way back when.
hmm
It's like, I liked it, but not enough to buy it. And then like, I played it more of it because I think it was like one of the like free game of the month on like PS Plus years ago. And then finally like it just for some reason never clicked with me. And I've always wanted to go back. After playing A Way Out and It Takes Two, with you, the last, like what was that,
Yep.
2018 and 2021. Uh, like obviously, Way Out was super fun. It Takes Two was
Yeah.
a great time. So I was excited to go back and play like Joseph Ferris's like first like game like of the style. It's like this remake. It largely plays the same. I think even like all the trophies and achievements are the exact same from the first game. It's just an Unreal Engine 5. Um, and actually when I beat it, not only did I beat it, I platinumed it. Did
Oh,
it over
wow.
like 2 sittings in like one day. Took me three and a half hours, I'd say. But yeah, I came away like I don't know. I almost wonder how I would have feel if I would have played this in 2013 rather than 2024. We're like playing it now. It's kind of interesting because it's like I think it's a good game. I do. But it's funny because you can kind of see like where like it's like kind of seeing like the rough draft in a way of like what the next two games that Joseph Ferris would make would become. Because like A Way Out and It Takes Two are so this game you can play. You can play one player. You can also play two player, but it's only unfortunately only couch co-op. for the
Oh.
2 player. But the way you do it, you have a big brother and little brother. The big brother, you use the left stick to move around with. The little brother, you use the right stick to move around with.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the left, like L2 or left trigger, and then is like what like for the big brother will like pick up objects or like like he has like the crank he has to, like rotate it or whatever. He
Yes.
does that with that or like climbs a ledge, anything like that. The right trigger does the same thing for the little brother. So it's almost kind of like when I played the game, like I like it's not long enough to like I feel like I mastered the controls even though you're only using 4 buttons. But it's like it's kind of like that weird like what is it like when you like pat your head and rub your belly kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like it's like that's kind of how I felt playing this whole game where it's like the whole game of like pat your head, rub your belly thing where it's like I never
Right.
really got great about it, but like I don't if I would have played the game long enough to get good at it, I don't think I would have liked the game so much because it's better for what it is. It's a 3 hour like little game. I think the story is pretty good. There's a couple touching moments in the game that I liked, but like I said, it's like there's some cool stuff in there of like the puzzles. Like I like the puzzle solving stuff like that, or like some moments where you have to like run through areas really fast. Like it can kind of get difficult because like I'm used to like controlling a character running with the left trigger, but like you have a little brother and it's like or like you're trying to like you're like oh we need to go this way and like I'm accidentally like going like one's going left, one's going right, and it's like
Mm.
or like some of them like one of them's like one of my favorite parts of this game is like the brothers like tie ropes to each other and you have to like swing them to the next thing, but you have to
Right.
hold like when you're on a ledge, you have to like hold the left trigger down to like actually hold onto the ledge. Like or if you're picking up an object, if you let go of the button, you fall or you drop the object, whatever. So you have to like it's almost this weird like brain teaser puzzle thing where it's like all right cool now I gotta let go of the right trigger to like swing the left brother or the little brother over. It's like this weird thing of like okay, and like I died a few times, like fuck, okay, like it's just like it's kind of
Right.
a cool little puzzling. That was a really cool section of that game. Or I was like one where it's like you have to like pick up this like long like I don't know like pretty long like little pole and you have to like move it to like open up a door. But it's
Yes.
like there's all these like turns and twists you have to like kind of like maneuver through. So it's almost like imagine like you're moving your friend and like he's got his mattress and you're trying to like go down like a couple like you're trying to get like through some hallways and shit and like some tight corridors and that's kind of what it is and it's kind of fun like in some ways it's like it's giving me like PTSD flashbacks from like moving but on other side like it's kind of fun like oh okay all right I need you to like back up a couple feet I need you to shimmy over a little bit it's I don't
Right.
know, I kind of like that kind of thought it was fun like didn't blow me away I didn't think anything was like overly hard like I died a few times in like sections but it wasn't like uh it was like just kind of like learning and getting better or shit like that, but it wasn't like overly hard anywhere. I thought the story was fine for what it is. Like, there's no actual talking in the game. It's all like they have like their own like fake language. But I think I would have loved this game a lot more in 2013. When it came out, like this definitely was like I think a game that would have hit harder. But it's
Yeah.
just like coming away from it, it's like you can like I said, you can see the bones of what a way out and it takes two. Like some of the best parts of that game is like some of the dumb side shit we would do when we play that game. Like obviously games are like a little more like it takes two is a lot more like it does have like a really crazy like dark story, but like what you're
Right.
doing in the game is like a ton of fun. It's almost like platformer and like just like doing dumb competitions or like having crazy like arm wrestling competitions or like or playing chess or Connect Four. Like those moments aren't in this game. Like this is a very like Brothers is a very serious game. It's like I don't know. Like I don't know. Like I don't know if I would have like liked it as much playing with somebody else. Like especially sitting down on the couch because it's like we can't have those moments of like doing dumb shit or like ice skating around this area, like we did. Like I don't know, playing this like really super serious game about these two brothers trying to save their dad as like I don't know, kind of a vibes kill like when you're hanging out with your buddy, I think. But anyways, I can't wait. I really liked it. Like it's not super expensive, and if you already have like I'd say you do not need to buy this version. It's just like a better looking version of the original game, but like it
Yeah.
plays largely the same. Um, the trophy, like even the trophies are like the same. Like I went through, I beat the whole game, and I went like I was like only missing 2 trophies, and like they're literally the first two like I missed. So I went back and I like used chapter select, so I just did them really fast. So that's the reason I did it.
Ah.
But like I would say if you're already a PS Plus, if you already own a PS Plus or it's probably cheap somewhere else, just buy it. Like if you were like actually look forward like want to check this game out, the remake is not necessary. But like hey, like if you want to like I think the visually it's very impressive. It looks really nice. I like the art style. But yeah, I liked it a lot. I would say it's definitely one of those games I'd like. I think it's like an 80 on like Open Critic or something like that, like an 81 or something like that. I would
Right.
have give it. I'd probably put it like a 7.5 somewhere in there. So that's kind of where I kind of go on. It's 3 hours. Like, definitely check it out. But yeah, that's pretty much all I'm playing. Uh, Like I said, I got a few other games I want to play. I'll talk about those next week. Hopefully, I have some time to check those out. As long as we don't have 24
Yes.
hours of interests in WrestleMania Night 2 tomorrow, I should be able to play a little bit more. But yeah, I think that'll wrap it up for this week, guys. Thank you so much for listening. If you like us, please like, follow, subscribe, check us out. We're on every podcast service out there, even the now dead Google Podcast. You might be able to find us there. I don't know. But like, follow, subscribe, 5-star reviews, leave comments, tell your friends, Twitter, Facebook, all those places. Check us out. Uh, do whatever review you can do to help us out. We would appreciate it. Tell your friends about us. Like I said, we are two guys that do this for fun because we love it. But I was host. I was Tyler.
I have been Colonel Gables. So until next time, everyone, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk-Nerds Podcast.
And hey, Gables.
Yeah.
Too sweet.
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.